Hello there, brand builders. I'm Bonigala, brand strategist. All right, in this series, we have been looking at the 5-pillar brand strategy, asking 5 different questions. Each of those, of course, is a pillar, and each of those pillars is broken down into 3 primary actions, and each primary task, more like, is broken down into 3 action steps. Okay, so in the previous video, we spoke about who are your customers. That is the ICP. Today, we're going to be talking about why does your brand exist? To answer that question, I have 3 cards again. These are the 3 primary tasks, and each task is broken down into, of course, 3 action steps. So we're looking at the first one, the brand core purpose. And for the brand core purpose, we'll be asking, or rather, we'll be working on 3 action steps. We will figure out or identify the internal brand purpose. We'll be figuring out or identifying our higher purpose goal, and then we will create the purpose statement. Now, for figuring out our internal brand purpose, we ask a series of questions. The 3 most important questions that you need to be asking to figure out, to identify your core brand purpose, that means this is the internal brand purpose, is who are we helping, what are we helping them with, and what is the biggest impact we can have on their lives. So we're really trying to figure out our audience. Now, you may say, well, we've already worked out our audience in the previous step. So without working out the brand core purpose, how did we figure out the ICP, which is the ideal customer profile? Now, the ICP is the first step because your brand purpose, if you already have a brand purpose, right? Internal brand purpose, not the purpose that you broadcast to the world, but the internal brand purpose. You might say, well, I am starting this brand because I care about, I don't know, global warming, or I care about the underprivileged, or something of that sort, or I care about technology, I care about astronomy, I care about, I don't know, removing plastic from stores. Look, internal brand purpose is made up of 2 parts. The first is your kind of gut instinct, your internal driver that came up in terms of why you wanted to start this business in the first place. The second part is this, which is looking at our primary audience, the different tiers of audience we have, and then asking, who are we helping, right? So this one actually is an iterative process. So the ICP, the ideal customer profile, may also be tweaked as we ask these questions and as we work through our internal brand purpose. So who are we helping? What are we helping them with? And what is the biggest impact they have on their lives? That will lead you to the internal brand purpose. The next one is identify your higher purpose goal. So a higher purpose goal is, it goes beyond your brand, right? It goes beyond your product, it goes beyond your service, it even goes beyond your target audience. We are looking at a goal that is, global in scale or universal in scale. So we need to ask the following questions. What is the core global issue our audience cares about? What is the relevant link between that issue and our brand? What change do we want to see in the world? Okay, you may be thinking, hang on, Mash, you said that the higher purpose goal goes beyond the brand or even the audience, but the 3 questions are related to audience and the brand. But that's because we want to pick core global issues that align with us as the stakeholders of the brand, as the brand builders, as well as our audience, right? So, because look, people have different issues that they care about, right? So for personally myself, I care about, global climate and global warming and things like that. But I also care about the lack of opportunities for entrepreneurs and how they're struggling to reach their potential. Now, these 2 are both global issues, in my opinion. Now, again, these are all very subjective, right? These are your opinions. These are your goals. These are your brand's goals. These are your audience goals, right? So in these 2, the climate change and entrepreneurial kind of betterment, if I were to choose for my brand, I would pick the entrepreneurial because that is closer to the product and services that my brand offers. The same is the case with you. If your product or service is related to, let's say, climate change, then you pick that because your audience also kind of aligns with that goal, right? With that issue. Next, what is the relevant link between the issue and our brand? That is the question. What is the relevant link between that issue? How can we pick an issue that has a relevant link to our service or our product? What change do we want to see in this world? Okay, that is a big one. What change do we want to see in this world? Now, that change could be, of course, directly related to your product or service, or it may not, but it could be aligned with your audience. For instance, in my case, what change do I want to see in this world? Really, it goes to homelessness. Okay, so what does that mean? Not homelessness per se, but the path that leads people to homelessness. Now, homelessness is just a word that defines utter despair. It's almost like the bottom of the valley, right? Of the trench. And in my case, that is the change I want to see in this world. I want to see a change where there's no homeless people. Now, what does that mean? It's you layer on top of it. Means they have a vocation. Those people have a vocation. They have a job. They have something that they contribute to society and then make money and then pay their bills and so on, which then leads to the higher level, which is another layer where, to do a job, you need skills. To do a business, you need skills. You need knowledge. You need to know how to. And also, you need that structure that enables you. And that is, of course, entrepreneurial education. And that is what, I drive passion from. So you see how those layers are stacked up? Now, of course, that is mine, right? What is yours? Ask these 3 questions. Okay, then finally, once you have the internal brand purpose and you have the higher purpose goal, you then create your purpose statement. Now, purpose statement it could be an internal purpose statement, or it could be a purpose statement that you put out into the world. But you don't need to really worry too much about it, because when you get to the brand vision and mission, you will be creating a statement that can be used in public. So for the moment, the purpose statement could be an internal purpose statement. But what you then do is you bring elements of the internal brand purpose. So the internal brand purpose could be a separate statement on its own. Your higher purpose goal could be a separate statement on its own, and it has to be, of course. And then you find elements in these two and bring them together to create your purpose statement. Now remember, this purpose statement does not have to be a public one. In fact, I would recommend it to be an internal purpose statement, because that is what you use to drive your team members, people who join your venture, your cause. It is for them, to drive them and yourself. And it doesn't have to be, in fact, I would not recommend you use that for marketing purposes, because then it just, I don't know. Personally, I feel that it loses some of that authenticity, right? So that is the first primary task, finding your brand core purpose. Now, each of these tasks deserves a video on its own, but I'm trying to summarize. Maybe I'll do videos, sub-videos on each of these topics. All right. The second primary task, now going back, the question is, why does your brand exist, right? That is the question we are trying to answer here. The second primary task is brand core values. For this, it has 3 kind of action items, action tasks. Brand vocabulary, we need to create that. We need to identify our core values, and we need to create action phrases for the core values. Okay, so what is brand vocabulary? Now, everything is made up of language, right? Like all ideas, all concepts need some kind of a medium to be expressed. So you need language to express a concept. You need language, you need words to express an idea. If I were to say to you, I like that thingy for doing that thingy, right? That makes no sense. You need to know what that thingy is and what the other thing is, right? And I bring that example because years ago when my younger daughter was young, she used to say thingy for everything, right? So it was the easy way, like, I want that thingy, or that thingy. So I used to make fun of her. So I'm just bringing that example. It just reminds me of that example, where I think, thingy is a word we need to understand and say we should not be using the word thingy. And when it comes to your brand, you need a language, you need a set of words, you need a vocabulary that expresses the core philosophies of your brand. When you go back to your brand core purpose, for example, to articulate that into words that you might use in your marketing, words you may not use in your marketing, but words that can be used to communicate what your brand stands for, what it is all about. So the brand vocabulary, I'll do a separate video. It's massive. It's got various different subsets of vocabulary. One could be, for example, philosophical vocabulary. One could be, what does your brand mean to the world? Words describing that, and so on and so forth. So I will do a separate video on that, because it's a big topic. Okay, next we look at core values. So brand core values, they are a list of values that share the purpose of your brand, that you care about, that your brand cares about, that your brand stands for, that you stand for. And also, these values should align with the values of your audience. What do they care about? For instance, integrity. If you care about integrity, that could be a brand core value. I'm sure your audience also cares about integrity. Most people care about integrity. And of course, this is where brand core values, the power of these brand core values come from. If you have these core values and you align them with the core values of your audience, you then decide who you're going to serve, right? You want to serve the audience that shares same or similar core values to you or your brand. Do you see where I'm going with this? The reason why you need core values? Because when you have core values, your marketing, you attract the people, the audience that have similar core values. And that, in turn, ensures that you're always on par. You're not attracting the wrong kind of audience, right? The wrong customers and so on and so forth. It has a far-reaching idea. And then your marketing, your core values, your marketing has to be aligning with your core values. Your business model has to align with. That is why it is very important to have core values. Now, of course, integrity is a very common core value. So when you're creating core values, I would say, look, it's okay to have common core values. Honesty, integrity. But don't use things like high quality. I see a lot of brands and businesses out there, and they have high quality as one of their core values, or customer service as one of their core values. Now, when you say customer service as a core value, you're actually undermining the core value. First of all, customer service has to be baked into your business, right? It's not a core value. It's not something you boast about, or maybe you can, but it's not something that you say, well, it is a value, right? No, it is expected. It should be the fabric. It should be the DNA. But like I said, it's up to you, right? The core values are yours. It's up to you. Okay. Once you have this set of core values, you then create action phrases. What do I mean by action phrases? Because look, having core values by themselves, just words, means nothing. If you say that one of our core values is integrity, okay, you need to turn that into an action phrase. You could say, we believe that our audience or our customers deserve an authentic service. Therefore, integrity, or authenticity, what could be, integrity that's why we value integrity, right? So because we want to serve our customers in a particular way. So it becomes an action phrase rather than just a standalone word. Honesty. Think about it. If honesty is your core value, what does it really mean in the context of your business, in the context of your audience? What does it really mean? You need to come up with an action phrase. Honesty. We believe that honesty is this, okay? As per you. Not kind of a dictionary definition of what honesty means, right? Okay, so that is the brand core purpose and the brand core values. Now, before we jump into the third one, I just wanted to reassess. Do you see where the power of working through these things for your brand? These are not just fluffy kind of jargon or principles, that brand strategists talk about. These have an impact on the message that your brand is going to broadcast, the people you try to attract to your brand, the services or products you provide. Do you see that? Do you see the power of these pillars? Okay, good. All right. If you're finding value in this video, listen, go ahead and hit a like, subscribe to this channel, and because look, this series, it's going to blow your mind. This series, along with that 5-pillar brand strategy ebook that you can download for free, it's going to revolutionize your business. It's going to change your business, right? Okay, let's get on to the third pillar, or rather, the third primary action task. That is brand vision and mission. For this, we need to figure out what our brand revenue goals are. We need to, think about our 2 to 5 year impact, and then we create the vision and mission statement. Okay, I always say that if you want to build a successful brand, you should always start with your revenue goals. Yes, it might go against kind of common, thought process. It might be counterintuitive. And a lot of marketing people out there, branding people out there might actually disagree with me and say, what? If you start with revenue goals, your brand is going to be inauthentic, right? It's not going to be an authentic brand. Well, hear me out. Now, the reason I say you need to start with brand revenue goals, and I did a video on that, and I'm going to leave a link above, so you click on that, watch that. The reason I ask any founder or any business owner that I coach or that I work one-on-one with is, let us start with your brand revenue goals. And the reason is that if you have an idea of the revenue goals that you want to hit, that is going to have a cascading effect on everything that you put together, your plan of action, your strategy, your marketing kind of strategy and tactics, your messaging, what you say, the pricing, look, everything. How? Okay, take an example. If you want to launch this brand just to, to make a living, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. It's perfectly okay to start a business to just make a living. In that case, you might then figure out, okay, I need maybe $100,000 per year to live comfortably, right? You got wife, husband, or kids, no kids, whatever, cat, dog, you're living in an apartment or house, to pay your bills, live comfortably, maybe you need $100,000. If that is the revenue goal, if your business has to make, of course, profit, $100,000, right? After expenses, after taxes and everything, $100,000, then whom you target, how much you price your product or service will be determined by that, right? You don't want to be selling 1 million products or, you don't want to be selling to 1 million customers, right? You don't need to sell to 1 million customers. All you need, for example, so you break it down, $100,000 is $10,000 a month, roughly, okay? So you need $10,000 a month. Maybe 3 clients paying you $3,500 should be enough, right? Or, so you break it down. Okay, look, I watch that video. I don't want to spend too much time on this video for that. But start with your revenue goals. Start with your revenue goals. Next, ask 2 to 5 year impact. Where do you see your brand in 2 to 5 years, right? Maybe 3 years. Where do you see your business? Now, what does that mean? It could be, again, going back to the revenue goal. It could also be in terms of whom you're targeting. Maybe you have a goal, the impact you have. For instance, I'll give my example. If, for me, 2 to 5 years, if I was starting a business now or when I started, 2 to 5 years, I wanted to work with at least 100 founders, one-on-one, coach them, mentor them, and create strategies and messaging for them so that their business, if they're already existing, will double their revenue in 90 days, and so on and so forth, right? So in 2 to 5 years, now, to make that happen, what would I need to do? I can't do that on the first day, right? When I start my business, founders are not going to trust me. And why should they? What have I done to show them that I have this expertise to be able to do that for them? So 2 to 5 years, the same way. How do you want your business to impact your audience? Or it could even be the world at large, okay? So that is a very critical thing because that makes you think. And once you have that, you write that impact statement, the rest of your decisions will be based on that. Because when you understand the 2 to 5 year impact you want to have, then choosing a particular product line or a path, a business model, you might think and say, well, you know what? If I go down this route, yes, I might make money in the short term, 6 months, a year, but it's going to maybe tarnish my reputation. So that in 2 to 5 years, when I do want to get to that stage where I'm working with, let's say, founders, would they trust me if they look at maybe the campaigns that I ran in the past? You get it, right? I'm going too much into detail, but I think you get it. Okay, final primary task for this pillar, which is why does your brand exist, is writing your vision and mission statement. Vision and mission statements, some companies just have a vision statement. Some have just a mission statement. Some have vision and mission. But what are these? A vision is, I'll give you a great example. Let's say you're looking at a hill, right? You're looking at a hill and your vision is you want to plant a flag on top of that hill. And you're now at the bottom of the hill, right? So that is the vision. The vision is I want to climb that hill or mountain and I want to put a flag on top of that mountain. That is the vision. The mission is, now how do I make that happen? For that, it's not just, I can't just start walking. It's a mountain, right? It's got different terrain. There might be trees. There's a dense forest. I need to figure out the supplies I need to take. The backpack should not be too heavy. What kind of footwear am I wearing? And as I climb higher up the mountain, the weather is going to get bad. There might be showers. It might be cold, snow. So I need to pack that. Do I need GPS? So that planning and doing it is the mission. So a lot of confusion about vision and mission. And I hope this example gives you an idea. Maybe not, but think of it from your own business side, for your audience. What is the vision of your brand? And then your mission. Now, this is for your audience. This you want to tell your audience. This is not internal brand purpose, right? This is not the purpose of why the brand exists. It could be. It could be. For a lot of businesses out there, their purpose and vision are similar, sometimes same. And if it is, fantastic. If not, they should be similar, right? Try and keep that thread going. So when you're trying to work out your vision, go back and look at your purpose statement, and also look at your higher purpose. Do they all align? They should all fit like a puzzle. And don't be sort of daunted if what you like, your purpose is different from your vision. You can sit down, think through, and then bring it to a kind of a cohesive statement, right? So vision and mission, you definitely need that. And as an example, go and check out the vision, mission statements of big companies out there. Tesla, their vision, of course, is, what is that? Accelerating world's sustainable energy, something like that. I'm paraphrasing. Apologies. So that is their vision, and that's also their mission. In fact, that is their mission. So what does that really mean? It means that they want to accelerate this sustainable energy, right? Towards that, their missions, what they do, electric cars, electric power batteries, and then they have SpaceX. All these things are really aligned with that vision, right? And if you look at, for example, Disney, magic, entertainment, their vision is to entertain people. Do you see what I'm saying? So go look at some examples so you understand how people are constructing their vision and how they're constructing their mission. I will try and leave a link below to a resource. Maybe I can put together. This actually gives me an idea. Maybe I should do a video on that and put together some examples and then talk through them so that you get a good idea of how to construct that vision and a mission. So those are the three kind of primary tasks and broken down into action items. And that is the second question that we answer. Why does your brand exist? Yes, I thought this video will be long because it is an exhaustive topic. I will definitely make more videos in this series. So subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so. Hit the bell icon so that the next video when I post in this series, the next one is, what is your brand personality? That's going to be a good one, right? That's going to really, really help you figure out your brand personality. And so you don't want to miss it. Hit the bell icon, like it. And if you have any questions, just ping me on Twitter. My handle is @Bonigala, or I'm always hanging out on LinkedIn, right? Follow me on LinkedIn, ask me questions about this particular one, or even leave comments below this video and I will try and get back to you. All right. So till my next video, take care.